everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to another car review, and today we're in a 2017 Focus RS. Now the Focus RS is of course powered by a 2.3 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 350 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque from factory. Now this one though, of course, does not do that. It has a few bolt-ons that brings power to 360 wheel horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Let's try these brakes out over here real quick. Very nice. For days too, those pops. Of course the exhaust is not stock either, so that helps that situation a lot. The car is dyno tuned by Tune Plus in Louisville, so those numbers are actually certifiable right there, and based on that acceleration, hells yeah. Second gear over here, of course. This thing moves so quickly, and it's such a contrast between this and the WRX that I reviewed, because this is still stock turbo, so the turbo comes on very gradually, and then the WRX, there was like nothing until 4,000 RPM, and then it just kicked on. I honestly like this better, because that corner, I would not be able to take it like that in that WRX, because the power comes on so violently. This is freaking great. This is awesome. I do love these brakes though. Now of course this also has launch control, so let's try that out. This thing is so quick. Man. You know, I totally get these cars right now. Of course, I've driven the ST, which is a pretty nice car as is. Also had launch control, but it did not get off the line like this, because this is, of course, four-wheel drive. And the RS didn't have four-wheel drive until pretty much over here, in the Focus anyway. In Europe, of course, you had the Sierra RS, and then it was followed up by the Escort RS, and then came, well, this. Man, guys. If you want to have a sporty Focus, just don't get the ST. Save that extra money and get this one. The previous generation of the RS, we did not get in the United States, which personally still a little bit salty over, because that had the 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, still front-wheel drive, but it made the freaking Group B rally car sounds, especially if you put an exhaust on it, and that is always a good thing. So are these pops. Under the radar, just drive it slow, it'll be completely fine, but right now, pops for days. I love it. Okay, so right now I put it in the track suspension. I already feel that this car is a whole lot more bouncier right now. Actually, to the point that it becomes kind of uncomfortable to drive. Flat through that corner, that's one thing that's for sure, but I don't think I would have it in this mode all the freaking time. This is more a dedicated track thing than anything else. So with that, I'm gonna turn this off. There we go. So So much nicer. Now when you go over to the exterior styling on the car, it is just a step up from the ST. The ST looks pretty good, but this one just looks downright nasty when you look at it from the front end. The air intakes, they put the styling and just dialed it up to 11 in my book. The rear end also an improvement, although somehow I still kind of wished they had a center exhaust on it because it looks so good on the ST. But then again, you have a car that is just a step higher. You want to differentiate yourself from what the ST is, and this does that perfectly. And I love the turning in this, it's freaking great. You don't have to redline it, and like I said, if you don't redline it all the time, you don't get as many pops either. The wheels on this is still these stock forged wheels, and the owner had them auto dipped for about 70 bucks of product, and it makes it look more like a toy. That's exactly what the owner wanted it to be. Really?
That's an RT though, must be.
Oh my god, yeah, and an Avenger. Hold up. See what you got. Coming for you, bro. Don't know what this guy's gonna do, so. I also love how this car just moves direction at will. I mean, the steering input on this is so direct. I freaking love it. Now when you move over to the interior side of things, it just looks like pretty much a base focus from the dashboard. But then when you go backwards, it's a whole different story. This is the RS2 model, so you're getting all this Alcantara, which I think is awesome. You don't get to burn your butt off in the summer, and it holds you in place just a little bit better. And I think it also is a little bit more comfortable. These Recaros, I love these. Even though I'm slightly bigger, actually the owner is a bigger guy than I am, and he's comfortable in them. And same for me. Rear space is the same as in the ST. It'll work in a pinch, but you're not going to be super comfortable. Seats fold down. It's a hatchback, so you have a lot of room there as well. And that acceleration is always going to be on point in this. Another thing that you're obviously going to get in the interior of this is this awesome flat bottom wheel with the RS logo and the blue stitching that you have over here as well. And of course, we're going to have to do this thing. All the way down to first. Conclusion is 100% yes on this. Marcus, thank you so much for letting me drive your RS. This has been an absolute awesome experience. Nice, man. And now I wish I had one of these myself. Now, of course, there's one thing that we have to talk about. The head gasket issues. And that is really the only issues that these cars have on the engine side. The reason for that is, of course, 100% Ford's fault. In their infinite wisdom, they decided to put the Mustang EcoBoost head gaskets in the same area as the Focus RS head gaskets. The Focus RS head gaskets have a couple more cooling passages than the Mustang head gaskets have, and that is the only reason why those head gaskets blow. And yes, okay, it is an issue. Yes, you're gonna have to take your car to Ford to have it checked out, but they will fix it for free right now. So one of the things, of course, in the future, if you're watching this 5 years down the line, yeah, you're gonna have to dig into history, make sure that they had this recall done. But it's not a bad car, guys. It's just one issue, and issues happen when people build cars. And if a company is a good company, they will own that mistake and they will rectify that mistake. So there's no reason to discount this car just because of the head gasket issue that it has. And that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah, drift you can't do on dry pavement. It doesn't work. I mean, unless you're...
Yeah, and even if, dude, I don't want to be the freaking meme.
Yeah. It's a...
What a noob.
It's a tough car to drift because I'm used to rear-wheel drive muscle cars, you know?
Alrighty
It
then.
makes lots of pops.
Alrighty then. Did I hear a little bit of
It's a stock.
uh,
I had one on the ST and it was just...
annoying?
Yeah. It's like kind of like a child thing. You know?
No, I guess, but when I drove that WRX though, with that recirculated blow-off valve, I'm like, dude, that is freaking awesome.
I really like
It's like, it's compressor surge. It's bad, but you know, whatever.
Fine. The only thing it's bad for is the turbo. You just
It's to replace the turbo. Oh, my turbo went up. Yeah, with a bigger one.
Just pop it in.
Winning.
I had a pretty loud wastegate on the boosted Corvette I had a Vortec blower on it.
Yeah.
And that was fun to hear the V8 just like, what? It's like, holy. That thing was.
Yeah, but you have the displacement, you know? That's the freaking crazy thing about that.
Yeah, that was like a 700 wheel car. That was nasty. And it weighed less than this. It's like playing a video game.
Yeah, dude. It is. Only it's real life.
Yeah. Only we could die.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a Ford product, so the chances of that happening. Actually, it's not a Mustang, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Talk about Mustangs right there. He didn't spin out. Must be a good driver.
It's nice how torquey this car is.
Yeah, I just went to fifth and it just moved.
Yeah.
Because this guy was continuing to accelerate, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, the mid-range is great in this car.
Yeah. Perfectly sized turbo, that's for sure.
Honda kid.
Yeah.
Fucking broke his neck.
Yeah. Oh, really? I think the coolest thing that I've had happen during a review was when I hauled at, we were in a, was it the Integra? That's what it was. No, RSX, sorry. They call it the Integra in Japan, but we get the RSX. But there's this Scion TC stopped at the light, and I'm like, oh, it's a Scion TC, it has nice wheels, there's an exhaust on it, and it's not gonna do anything. And in the end, he just left, and I'm like, all right. Because the owner next to me said, well, if he does something, smoke him. And I'm like, dude, this is such a Fast and Furious moment. But I wasn't expecting him to do something, because if you know anything about an RSX, you know that there could be a Type S in it, and that actually had the JDM K28 in it, so it made more power that way. Yeah, over 200. So, but you know, he just left. I'm like, the owner next to me said, I knew it, and I go, playing catch up, and you get into VTEC, because he was pulling away till that VTEC hit, and that was the point where it just wow. And at the end, the guy was like, he turned off over there on that road over there, and we did the U-turn that we usually do, and he was like, because that's a cool sound. He had his window down, and just to hear an engine go from regular cam to VTEC, dude. I just think the styling on this is just perfect. You know, you get
it's just enough.
Yeah, you go from the base version, which looked pretty good, to then the ST, which looked better, and then this is just perfect.
Yeah, and the 18 models, they have a bunch of carbon trim on the inside, which is nice.
That's pretty slick.
It also comes with an LSD, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, the front end, because I did feel one thing, that when we got on it, you kind of felt the front end.
Yeah, stock, there's no torque steer because there's not enough power, but you put some power behind it and it wants to skate around a little.
With such a juvenile every time that happens.
it just puts a shit-eating grin on your face.
Yeah, it does.
You know, like,
it does. It's so bad though, but yet it's so good.
Yeah.
I just imagine how would this car have been if you still had that Volvo 5-cylinder in the front.
I think about that a lot, and it really bums me out. Because that motor was just so f***ing cool.
This is freaking nuts. That's why I just love 5-cylinders, man. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find whenever the Grand Marquis is like at 150,000, which is probably next year. I'll go to a Volkswagen dealership and I'll tell them, say, hey, I want you to look for a manual transmission, Volkswagen, 2013. It has to be 2013 and no earlier, because then they have drums in the back and I can't deal with that. SE or SEL. The SEL has the independent rear suspension and the SE has the torsion bar. I personally don't care, because the torsion bar is still going to be fine.
Yeah.
This guy, he just flew around. You're a candidate. You are a candidate. Should I smoke him? That's enough. You got the point. Don't ever do that, man. If you fly up like that, even if I'm in my Grand Marquis, I will make it so hard on you. I will make it so hard on you, and probably in that case, I don't know if it's a 202. No, it isn't.
It's the Uber bitch mode.
Yeah, it's the Uber bitch model. Yeah, you would have been host. So many people actually mistake the Grand Marquis for something super slow, and it's actually, you know, if you have an Econo box, it's pretty comparable.
Yeah.